So, a very long while ago, I said I'd make a second study habits video, and that day has finally come. So, this is me making a second study habits video. I don't remember all of what I covered in my first one, so I'm just going to kind of start from scratch. Very basic. You want to never want to cram. Cramming can sometimes do more harm than good. It can make you nervous. It can just kind of lower your morale and end up harming you when the test rolls around. You don't want to procrastinate. I know procrastinating is something I do a lot. I just wrote 3 papers that I had all of winter break to write these 3 papers, and they were like, the deadline was today, and I just wrote them all in one sitting. Off of I was supposed to read a book and write, supposed to read a quarter of the book, write a paper, read another quarter of the book, write a paper, and then the last paper, I have to finish the book and write the last paper by Monday. Started the book last night. That's not a good idea. That is, it screws you up, it lowers your grade. Like, no matter how good you think you are at cramming, you're not. You can pull it off for a while in junior high and sometimes through high school, but once you get to college, that whole idea just completely breaks down. So you want to get in place the habits that you need for college in high school, so you're not failing and getting kicked out of colleges once you reach college, because once you get kicked out of college, it's hard to get into a new college. So one thing is, get a style of note-taking that works for you, whether that's Cornell, whether that's bracketed, whether that's like bullet points. Me, I have very sloppy note-taking with different big and small text, class notes versus other notes. My note-taking strategies change from time to time. If you're ever doing something like vocab, remember 2 definitions. Try and remember the textbook definition, but if memorizing the textbook definition doesn't work, reword it in your own words, and that usually helps you remember it. Also, have goals and ideas for the notes you want to take. If the teacher is presenting a PowerPoint, write down like the first sentence of the PowerPoints, like the big ideas, and then scribble down other things under that. You never want to just try and copy word for word the PowerPoint. You also want to perfect the skill of writing without looking at the page. That will lower your handwriting quality quite a bit. It will be your handwriting will get much sloppier, but also allows you to write much faster, and you can get more of the good stuff that the professor wants to get to you, compared to just what he puts on the PowerPoint. If your professor posts the PowerPoints online, a good idea is to just look at him, write down what he's saying, and then go back and look over the PowerPoint later on and add to your notes. Add the big ideas and just expand on that. Put your own interpretations and ideas down, because if you're ever asked to write an essay and it's not just all multiple choice, which I doubt it will be, I'm guessing you're going to have to write a few essays, you want to have those ideas already there, those opinions, those analyses, not just the blatant facts. Having analysis and not just fact gives your essay more girth, more weight, and it just sounds better. Also, don't be afraid to use big vocab. Some people think that using big vocab makes you look self-absorbed. I don't know. People just have a fear of using big vocab. Part of it is spelling. Work on spelling. That's always a good thing. And work on handwriting for when you're writing essays. Your notes don't matter. No one sees your notes but you, so as long as you can read them, you are good to go. But essays, you always want to write essays in pen because it's more appealing to a professor or a reader. Also, better handwriting. Those are just things that professors try not to judge, but they're going to judge. And then spelling is another thing. Some people, like me, are just horrible spellers. I've worked on that for a long time, and I'm still a pretty crummy speller. So, work on your spelling personally, and work on handwriting, work on all those things. My grade on essays has actually gone up as my handwriting has gone up. So, yeah, that's a good thing. Also, if you're taking notes out of a textbook, textbooks usually have some guidelines for certain things, like these little green boxes. Like this one says, identify the big idea, and then it tells you what the big idea is. So just identifying that in the text and making, this is, whether it's history, math, or whatever, just these big crucial ideas are usually highlighted. Look at like big bolded things are important. Little bolded things are important. Anything that's some kind of header is usually important. Anything that's off to the side that's like highlighted, and it's like this thing right here is understanding points of view. Those are all important things, and they will help you later on. The most tests are based off of the textbook pretty strongly. So if you can get this stuff down, if you can really analyze what's in the text, you will do way better. And also really listen to your professor, because the textbook can only teach you so much, and the professor can only teach you so much. Together, you have almost everything. Also, use YouTube to your advantage. We have it. It's easily accessible to us. We have these great things like Crash Course that give you kind of jokey cliches and overviews, and those jokey cliches sometimes stick with you more than the rambling of a professor. So, also, if you can, record your professor and re-listen to those tapes. Yeah, that's another thing that helps a lot. Look at outside reliable sources. Ask your professor what some of those may be. Oh yeah, don't be afraid to be friends with your professor. Getting on a professor's good side is always good. Don't be afraid to challenge your professor either, as long as it's in a respectful way. Just ask questions all the time, because the more questions you ask, the smarter you get. I think that's... Well, one more thing on note-taking. Note-taking, having a good strategy for note-taking is always good. If you're like me and don't really look over your notes, you just take notes because writing stuff down helps you remember it, then you can have the sloppiest, most unorganized, just jotting of ideas ever, which is what I have. I have no real system for my note-taking. If you're one of those people that scours their notes time and time again, I would do... This is what works for me when I've had to look over my notes, is a heading system where you have one heading, then subheadings, or if it's something like vocab, which I'm always bad at, what I do is... Let me find a good example. Lots of notes. Take lots of notes. Here's a good one. So, I have this little thing sectioned and boxed off of all the vocab and terms, like big major terms. Then I have another big thing sectioned off, and I have my notes for the chapter, more chapter notes, and then I actually break in to the individual definitions, giving both the textbook definition and my own personal definition. And then different headers I have. Like I have a top of the page header. I have another top of the page header. These are class notes. These are all like scribbled down. You can tell by how the handwriting is bigger, sloppier and less refined. That I was looking at the professor and listening and just writing down what he said very fast. Then big ideas I kind of I wrote like really bolded and then kind of circled around it without even looking, and just having awareness of where your hand is on the page is very, very good, and will help you a lot for that fast note taking. Like just being able to talk to someone as you write notes. I'm not looking down at the page at all as I write these notes. And as you can see, they're very sloppy, they don't follow the lines, but they still work. I can still read that. Don't be afraid to get angry at your textbook or at your notes. Try, like, if you feel yourself getting frustrated ever at a textbook, take a break, and if you have to get a certain amount of studying done, maybe take a break from the actual reading of the textbook and look up some video summary on YouTube, and then that other perspective can help you, and then you can get back to it with new light, or maybe like timing naps. I think I talked about that before in like taking a 22-minute nap, 22 to 25-minute nap, and just having that to kind of clear your head and restart you is always good, and can even help you retain the information. Always try to finish all your studies about 20 minutes before you go to sleep, otherwise you can lose it while you sleep instead of retaining it while you sleep. Caffeine is my drug of choice, whether you take it in coffee, tea, or pill form. It's all good, just don't take too much of it. It can make you nervous, jittery, and if you have heart problems, it will kill you. Also, study snacks are not a good idea. You eat more than you think you're eating, and like the freshman 40 or whatever, where freshmen are studying and eating just crappy food, they gain a ton of weight, and they're like, what happened? Because you have no time to work out in college. So drinks like water or tea or coffee are much better, or like, you don't want to have too much caffeine because that just screws up your body, so decaffeinated tea or water. Maybe like if you don't want to just drink plain water, drink like flavored water with like Mio or something in it, but not soda, because soda's bad for you. And if you do have like some kind of study snack, make it like almonds or something like that, or maybe chew gum. Having a mindless task to do while you study, I need to finish up this video, is good. Like, you've seen me with my butterfly knives, I have my Zippos. These are just sometimes mindless things that I can do while I study, like just flip them around, and have fun with it. As you read, it's just reading, and this is keeping your hands busy so you don't go insane from boredom. I'm going to stop the video because I'm reaching my time limit. Thanks for watching, and good luck to you all.